Hi everyone, welcome back to Scrapping Scotland and back to do a teardown for you as always. So thank you very much for tuning back into the channel. Today we're going to do something slightly different. We are going to do an e-scooter. Now this was actually my son's e-scooter and it's basically not charging anymore. I have looked this up online. They say if you charge it overnight quite regularly you can ruin the battery. And I think that's probably what's happened. Other than that, it wasn't that great in the first place, and he doesn't want to use it anymore. I'm not going to go to the hassle of getting it all fixed up and sold on, so I'm going to scrap it down and see what we get out of it, as I've never scrapped one before. So, it should be fairly easy to take apart. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm going to get out of it. I'm hoping I'm going to get a motor, but I reckon the type of motor it's going to be is really just an armature. And that will be inside a set of magnets. I don't think I'm going to get a starter out of this. I do think I will get a big electric battery, but it will be a lead-based battery, so you can still sell that at the scrapyard. The bottom of this is all going to be aluminium. So we've got a little magnet here. As you can see, none of that's sticking, and that is all metal. But the neck of it, it does stick. So the neck and the main frame are all steel. This piece here, the little lever that brings down the frame or the neck of the frame, that's aluminium. But this piece here again is steel. So let's get it apart, guys, and let's see what we get out of this e-scooter. And is it worth taking them apart? Is it worth taking them and getting them fixed? Or is it worth sticking them straight into your scrap metal and into shred? So I was trying out a new microphone for this video, but the microphone gave up. So I'm now having to resort to doing a voiceover. So hopefully that's still alright for you guys, and we'll still walk through and talk through this video. The microphone does come back later on, and do keep watching this because there is a massive blunder moment for me in this video. And I'm sure you'll have a bit of a chuckle at my stupidity. So currently just try to get off the wheel. As you can see, it's quite a heavy wheel, and that's because it obviously contains the motor inside this wheel. As you will see once I take the wheel itself apart, the motor looks very similar to a overhead fan motor. So the fans you get on your ceiling fans, the motor looks very similar to that. The good thing about this unit is that a lot of it is aluminium. As you would have seen at the start, the neck isn't aluminium, that is steel. Got to get a lot of screws out of there, as you can see, screw after screw after screw. I haven't actually recorded me taking every single screw out because it would have just been a video of taking screws out. But separating the neck there from the main standing board, and this piece proved to be really quite difficult. The screws rounded really quite easily, so I was able to force the bottom two out, but the top two I actually had to drill out, which was a real pain. So here you can see me drilling out that last one. And that's the bracket. So this bottom cover that I'm taking off obviously just protects the battery and the controlling unit. the speed controller, and essentially it's just a mud guard, so make sure none of the water or mud debris can get into where the battery is. Now I've taken a lot of little electric cars, electric scooters apart, and they've all been lead acid batteries. This one, as you can see, is a lithium battery, and that is the speed controller. So I was really disappointed with that, to be honest, but it's something you really need to be careful of when you're separating the wires from the speed controller, because if you do something silly like this, you're going to have a bad time. Yeah, so I cut all the wires at the same time, when actually you should cut one wire at a time, and that won't happen. It obviously got insulated wire snips, cutting the other ones very cautiously there, but yeah, that was a bit of a stupid move. So after changing the underwear, obviously right back at it, and taking everything off of that kick plate or the stand plate, and cleaning up that aluminium, and as you can see, that's a nice big chunk of alley, all nice and clean. So now we're getting to the wheel, and obviously just taking out the little screws. So as I say, the wheel itself is all aluminium as well. To be honest, I never thought I'd get a set of alloy rims from an electric scooter, but there you go. They are aluminium wheels, they are alloy rims. I don't think the scrapyard will give me aluminium wheel price for them though, unfortunately. So just getting out all the screws, and then the next thing once all the screws are out is to try and break the bead of the tyre that's obviously round the rim. So to do that, I just need to get a screwdriver and work it around the rim itself until that tyre bead has been broken. So work that around now. I'm actually trying to see if I can unscrew anything, if it's easy to come off, or trying to assess whether I need to give it a good old smack with the hammer. So as you can see, we opted to give it a good old smack with the hammer, and that loosened it nice. A lot of dust coming out of there. Not sure what that dust is because it's white, as you can see on the bench, but yeah, give it a few whacks and loosen it off of the tyre, and try and get that rim out. Can only get out so far, so next step is to get it in the vise and lock it in there, and then we can start banging through the rim itself. So as you can see, that's it, popped out, and we can just pull that off. Quick reactions and some impressive footwork later, we have got our rim with our motor inside. And as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, the motor is very similar to a ceiling fan motor. In fact, it's probably the same. It certainly looks the same to me. I haven't actually taken apart a ceiling fan, so I am just going from what I see on other people's videos. So again, just try to bang through the actual motor out of the rim itself. And there we go. No fancy footwork needed that time. Came out nice and clean and didn't land on the toes, because that is a heavy little motor. There you go. Definitely something there for some copper recovery. So we're going to get a little bit of copper out of this scooter, but unfortunately that's the only copper we're going to get out of it, other than the insulated wire. Nice little rims, as you can see. We just need to get the tyre off of that rim, and we need to bang out those bearings, because those bearings makes it not clean aluminium. So there's one bearing out, nice and easy, flying across the bench. That just goes into shred. Get that out the vise. Nice clean piece of cast aluminium. We can just push this tyre now off this bottom rim, because it's really just a plate, as you can see. So there's a tyre off, and there's the bottom aluminium plate, which obviously still contains the bearing. So we need to get that bearing out as well. There's a little rubber seal which needs to be taken off. Then we can stick that in the vise and we can bash that bearing out as well. Did try and push it out there on my fingers, but unfortunately I'm not that strong. So lock it in the vise, get our punch and knock it out. No, well, we never knocked it out that time. If you don't succeed the first time, then try again. So this time just sticking it on top of the vise rather than locking it in. Hold it down and there it goes. And there you are, there's our second bearing and our second piece of cast aluminium. Okay guys, so now we come to the main stem. We've got the kick plate done, so we can now remove the front wheel. Now this front wheel is all aluminium as well, so we will come back to this. That gets the mudguard off. Okay. They're both aluminium after I get those screws out. Okay, to separate the stem from the bottom piece, I just need to unscrew it. So one screw. Okay. Okay, so this piece is aluminium and this piece is aluminium, so we've still got to separate them. This piece and this piece is steel, and that is obviously steel as well. Okay, so we just clamp it in the vise and then we can unscrew it. Okay, it should be easier now. Just to unscrew it like this. And we've got it loose. Okay, and there's another piece of aluminium. Now, in order to release this stem, we've got a big bolt here. Now again, this is probably something that isn't absolutely necessary, but I do just want to take it apart and just make sure that there's nothing else in here other than steel, anything else of value, so to speak. Okay, we can take that out of the vise now. Putting the gloves on for this piece just so we don't get oily, greasy. Okay, that nut is steel. I had a little steel washer as well that came off that. And I'll pull this straight through. And we've got a couple of little bits of ball bearings here at the bottom. There's a ball bearing set in here. I'm not going to take them out, just going to leave them as is. These can go straight into shred. This piece, I still have to get out this lever, which is of course aluminium. I'm going to have, there's a little screw in here, as you can see, these little screws, so I need to get them out and then I can bash this piece through. Okay, so that's the rod out. Now there is still a piece here that keeps in the spring. As you can see the spring at the back. So we need to see if we can bash this through as well. There's that little rod out. And there is our piece of aluminium. Doesn't stick to my magnet. And this is our steel piece. Okay, all of this is steel. Okay, now we need to get off the stem. Just pull that off. Another piece of aluminium. Normally when you find these things on bikes and things like that, they are aluminium as well. Okay, you can see this big metal piece inside here as well. I have a feeling that's going to be aluminium too. Okay, let's try and see if we can do it like this. Definitely some movement there. Okay. There we go. Another clean piece of aluminium. And another piece of steel. And finally we've got our wheel. Need to get that off. So I'm just going to tighten this as much as I possibly can. In the vise. And that will hopefully then allow us just to pull it off. Or push it off. Okay, now a little bit manoeuvring, try and get this out. This brass valve. There we go. I should now just be able to pull it off. There we go. Tyre separated. Do have a brass valve in there as well. There's the tyre, and here is our aluminium wheel. Okay, that's one side out. Flip it over. And same on the other side. And there you go, our centrepiece, our little bearing is now out. And we have our clean aluminium wheel. Okay guys, couple of last little things now before we weigh up, and that's to take these two apart. These are both little motors, obviously. This is a more traditional motor, but this is another kind of motor controller. So we'll take this apart. This is all aluminium as well. Screws off. Get a little plate. And this little plate is steel. And there's our little board. We've got our set of MOSFETs attached to that board. And plastic screws on them. Little plastic screws. Okay, another piece of aluminium. And there's our little board with our MOSFETs. We will take the MOSFETs off of that. There's a little spool here which has copper in it. The rest of it is pretty worthless, but we will cut that wire off as well. And then our aluminium outer piece. Okay, so I am going to be able to unwind this, but what I'm going to have to do that is push out these little pieces, which isn't the most fun way to do it, but I think unwinding it is actually not a bad idea, so I'll just push them all through first. If I cut it, it might just get quite messy. We can just pull them out. Okay, I can now start to unwind. Nice and easy, to be fair. Okay, and there's the first piece. Just to show you how actually easy this is as well, you're not having to sit and unwind it like normal. You can just actually pull it and it just more or less unwinds itself. Yeah, it's really easy. And there we go. If your yard takes it, that is prepared steel. If not, that is shred. And that is our lovely copper number 2. Okay, so this is all our aluminium. Let's see how much this weighs. That is 3,128 grams. So 3 kilos, 128 grams. And that is £6, 14.3 ounces for all our aluminium. Now it may be impossible to weigh this steel up, but let's have a try. Okay, that is saying 3,578 grams. But we also have this little pile. So you can balance this. This could be dodgy. Oh, it's good. So that's 5,038 grams. And that is 11 pounds 1.7 ounce of shred steel. Or of course a little bit of prepared steel in there as well. Okay, probably can't see all that, so there's the balancing act. Pretty impressive, I thought. Okay, next we'll weigh up our copper from that motor. That's 219.3 grams, or 7.7 ounces. Okay, let's do our insulated wire now. Just tear that out, put the wire in our box. And there's 114.5 grams of insulated wire. And that is 4 ounces. Hope you enjoyed that one, guys. A little thing different again for me. Never done one before, so that was a new one for me. And I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. If you liked that video, then please do hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, then you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button as well. And hit the notification bell, and you will see the next video notification for Scrapping Scotland. Bye for now, guys.